Hello there, I'm Aldrahill, and I have done something terrible in Victoria 3. I think Europe is just a little bit too dominant in the world right now, and the poor, uncentralized peoples of the world are sick and tired of being taken advantage of. So I made a few adjustments. I've made a mod that completely reverses the situation of everyone starting in Victoria 3. Everyone that starts the game as a centralized power is now colonizable and uncivilized, and everyone who you could previously colonize, they're now a major power. Not only that, but I've given every single power that can colonize 7.5 times colonization speed, extra declared interests, and a few law changes to allow for competition and, colonization. I'm going to observe the game and bask in the opulence of a world gone mad. So why not follow along and see what new horrors I've created? If you'd like more strange experiments in Vicky 3 and other games like it, like the video and subscribe for a whole lot more weirdness. So let's take a look at a few of my horrible creations. Here they are, my beauties. I would imagine that the ones who are going to do the best are the ones who start out on the coast because they have access to ports, they can get navies, which means even more declared interests. I'm not sure though, so what do you think? Which of my newfound nations will become the best? Pause the video here and comment down below your bets for which nations out of all of the uncentralized powers of the world will be on the great powers list at the end of the game, and who will be number one. The first thing that happens is just everybody colonizes this tiny stretch of Western Africa, which was previously Portugal, and it just looks horrible, and it's very fast. You also get a tiny bit of Egypt, but no one touches Europe yet. The biggest curse though is China. Just look at it. It's awful, and I promise it's only going to get worse. I would have thought that Kazakhs would do quite well, because even though they don't have a lot of population, they have this really nice bit of land. They can go to Russia, they can go to China, they can go south. But the problem is that they're kind of limited in colonization. They can only really go certain directions. So I think it's going to take a long time to get to Russia. Australia is being nicely carved up, as is New Zealand, and there's going to be a lot of gold here actually. So these powers are going to get strong in the mid game. As I said, China it's becoming kind of terrible. I'm really interested to see which of the Native American nations is going to be the one to excel. The Mexican-American War is kind of still going on. I couldn't figure out how to make that stop. Narujevo has already taken the Northwest, as has Ute. We're approaching the end of the year, and Europe has finally been claimed, at least in part, by Cuba. I don't actually know who these people are, but they are doing very well. They have managed to grab... Oh no, you didn't. Oh, Yorkshire. This has put them into number one in the Great Power, probably because of the sheer number of factories that are now available for them. Oh yeah, look at that. And they even got iron and coal. If you're wondering how exactly this is going to be balanced, I have upped the base construction that every country gets by 4 times, so that now everybody has 20 base construction. I think this was kind of necessary so that people could actually build ports and, I don't know, begin to get things together. I also did a few other changes, like I made sure there was no more isolationism. Everyone always starts on mercantilism. This means that people can actually start trading with each other and, changing the world. China is getting uglier by the minute, and the Americas are starting to get gobbled up. I fully expect Africa to be pretty much gone, not counting Egypt, by around 1850, so I'm really curious to see what happens with conquest, because that's another thing I've done. Everybody can attack anybody with conquer states and puppets, and I made everybody aggressive. Looks like the Iberian Peninsula has finally been touched by Bula, whoever they are. This is the problem, is that, all these countries are, we don't really know of them except as, oh no, why are they attacking me, when you're trying to colonize them as France or whoever. It's 1939, and Cuba, the only people to go to Yorkshire, are doing probably the best. So I just find it really funny, the idea of a bunch of West African people, colonizers, showing up to York and just being like, this is our steel mill now. They don't know what steel is. They can't use it. Literally nobody buys it, but it's ours. I think you get the idea of what I was talking about with China now. Every single person who has the modicum of thought that, hey, there's a lot of people in China, have gone to China. They've all grabbed tiny little ports and are all snaking up, desperately trying to outsnake each other. It almost actually feels like the AI is deliberately blocking each other off. This guy is completely capped over everybody, whereas this one's sneaking up. I'm very curious to see who's actually going to be the dominant power in China. All right, so 1840, it looks like Europe has finally been discovered by other powers, and not just a couple lucky ones who noticed, hey, there's a lot of people here too. We have Yolof Valencia, or rather Yolof in Valencia, Cayur, Sarami and Serere all trying to gobble up Spain. Someone, however, has just discovered that Austria exists. And we have Aldrahill here. They're building a port in Venetia and they're hopefully trying to gobble everything up, but they've just taken Venice. As you can see, I have turned up the base amount of money that everybody receives from minting, so as to help compensate for the fact that they're probably going to be losing a lot of money if and when they start colonizing. I'm just trying to figure out the great powers, and Sarajevo is the third with 15 million GDP, which just seems insane to me. They are the highest GDP, not counting all the fake centralized countries. They're not real. These cheeky sods not only colonizing America, they're also colonizing Bengal. And they're stealing tons of stuff. Look at this. It's getting so many industries. No wonder their GDP is insane. That's going to be such a big move for them. That's going to be huge. Maybe they can even get to China. Oh man. Speaking of oh man, sadly no one has gone to my favorably named country in the world. No one wants to be there. No one wants to take Muscat. It's just not cool, man. I don't know what it is, whether or not maybe increasing the colonization speed of everybody is just messing with the game calculations, but this is running slow. It is only 43 and I've been here for ages. However, Iberia is almost over half done. All of the Midlands has been claimed by Cuba, and we've even got Northeast Manchuria being devoured. And China is just looking worse every moment. Alright, it's been 10 years since game start. France is gradually being gobbled up. UK is about half done. Africa weirdly still has lots to grab. I don't know why. China's also near done, but I thought, you know, let's change it up a little bit. Let's make it a little fun. Every time 10 years passes, I'm going to times colonization speed by 10. And by the way, I'd already timed it by 10. I actually changed it from 0.75. It's now going to be 100 times faster. Let's see what happens. I want to see some real kerfuffling. Okay, I made the change. There's been some troubles. As you can see, the world has sort of exploded in colonization, and there's a reason for this. You see, when I originally made the colonization change in the mod, I times it by 10. Okay, so everyone colonized 10 times faster. Except, turns out there's a max colony growth speed modifier across the whole game. I didn't change that. It was 2%. So actually, when I first started this video, it was only double colonization speed. So when I just changed it to 10 times again, I also removed the maximum. So it is now 50 times faster. I let it play for a few years. It's 1852 right now. And as you can see, all of the world is just being gobbled. The Kazakhs are taking the central steppes. Luba is pushed all the way up in China. There is no wild China left except in the west. Navarro, I can never pronounce that, have taken the entirety of central India. Africa is basically done, though Somalia is still up for grabs. Western Europe actually look kind of good, with Boel and Micronesia actually forming these solid nation states. The Iron Confederacy ruling Scotland and Ireland seems pretty chill, and Cuba is now making its way into Scandinavia. The Comanche have managed to link up their borders in America, and South America is starting to finally get gobbled up. So maybe I'll do it again in 1856 and make it, I guess, another 10 times faster? Because I'm very curious to see some wars, because there is finally the first revolution here against a peasant revolt. Oh no, my beautiful world is being ruined. The English are revolting. But, you know, what else is new? The entirety of England is revolting against Cuba and Norway. This means Cuba is going to immediately shoot down. They were like number 1 for most of the game. They're now number 18. Does this mean England will become an independent... No, they're gonna become independent and real. Oh, I hate it. They've even got colonialism. They're like real people, but they've got closed borders. Okay, the Norwegian War won for the Norwegians, but it would appear that I didn't do it right. They've now immediately become decentralized again. They centralized, threw off the yoke of Cuba, and then decentralized, so Cuba is now once more colonizing them. Okay, that's weird. England, it's still fine. They're normal. They're a normal country. They're a major power. Norway is not, but England is. And what's worse is they're once again the number 1 great power. Oh no. And they're colonizing Prussia. And they're instantly doing it because I didn't set a maximum. I've ruined the world. No. Alright, I'm a man of my word. I think this is a mistake, but it's 1856 and I said every 10 years I would increase the colonization speed by 10 times. So, it's now 100 times faster. So I'm expecting to see some pretty fast colonization. Let's take a look. Oh my god, it's done in 1 day. Oh no. This is upsetting. You can actually watch it happen live. Okay, the weirdness continues. Kuba is pushing east, Kazakhs is pushing north. The Ottomans are fighting Egypt. Do bear in mind, the Ottomans in Egypt are not powers in this game. They are unrecognized, and yet they're dead. Okay, never mind. Egypt is gone. That was weird. Now this is interesting. While England is the #1 great power, they're not colonizing. And I realize why. It's because I've given everyone a maximum of strategic interest to ensure that they, you know, do colonize in a sort of intelligent pattern. And there's also an AI, like a sort of like encouragement for certain nations to assign their limited strategic regions of interests. So England, makes sense, cares about France, it cares about the Rhine, the North Sea, and it cares about India. Those places have all been colonized, so it won't do any more colonization. So the problem's fixed itself, guys. Don't even worry about it. Revolution number 3, the Franco-Canadian Uprising. That's somehow worse. Quebec is here, and they have popped out as a proper nation. Alongside that, we now have the Swedish uprising. Cuba cannot catch a break. All right, it's 1866 now, and the world's been very static for quite a while, and I don't like that. I want some change. So not only have I increased colonization speed by 10 times again, was it 100,000, 10,000, or 100,000 times faster than it was before? I've also increased the number of maximum and minimum declared interests for all powers. So I am hoping that I will begin to see some further colonization. It's very weird, but it does seem that it's sort of tapered off. Everyone's just sort of chilling. All right, there we go. It's worked. That's cool. There it is. I forgot it takes a few months or something like that for declared interest to happen, but look. Oh no, I have ruined the world again. I'm just gonna leave this alone for a sec. Behold, 1876. Everything is claimed. Not a single ounce of the world is uncolonized, and I think we have to call it here because there are no wars. No one will fight anybody else. I don't know why. I've given them the ability to do so. They just don't want to. The most interesting thing, though, is that Turkestan formed. It looked like Kazakh actually did the formable nation of Turkestan, which is incredible. I think that's the only major nation that's been formed. Sadly, for some reason, I must have done it incorrectly. The game will not fight. They will not do any cool conflicts. So I think I'm going to have to maybe revisit this another time and see if I can mod the mod more to make it so they attack. I don't know, maybe I could add claims manually. Let me know what you think in the comments down below if you have any suggestions. This has been a huge amount of fun. I'm going to show you guys some highlights now and just my favorite parts of this. I would love it if you told me in the comments what your favorite part of this absolute cursed world is. In no particular order, I just look at it. Look at this Australia. It's horrendous. Papua owns the entirety of New Guinea, and China starts out really small and then climbs up and around until it hits the wall that is Turkestan. The eastern part of Siberia is, of course, a work of beauty. It's magic is what it is. It's art. It's Picasso art. All things considered, America is not that weird. Comanche and the Great Show Nation are the biggest boys. There is another pop-out country that I didn't notice earlier. We have a New Africa, which clearly revolted from the Comanche. Very cool. Very awesome. Good for you. You go, Glen Coco. South America is sort of like someone dropped a plate of spaghetti or something. It's not ugly, but it's not pretty either. Africa itself, where all of civilization truly began, it's just kind of weird looking. And honestly, I expected more cohesive shapes, though I think the bit of Portugal is probably the coolest. Egypt is also a bit of a hodgepodge. The biggest surprise, though, is Europe. It actually looks really good. It kind of looks like a CK3 map. Like, look, this is like a really strong Poland-Lithuania. This is like an Austria-Hungary that devoured more Italy. This is like Occitan. This is like a Burgundy. And look, tell me that is not the North German Confederation from Victoria too. Plus, you know, in independent England. This looks like a Roman-era Iberia. And, of course, Sweden. This was a very cursed game. but it was also a lot of fun to make. I probably spent just as much time figuring out the mods as I did actually recording and playing this. It is slowed to a crawl, by the way, possibly because of the colonization, I'm not sure, but it takes a very long time to go for a year. If you think I should keep going and just try and fix the wars, let me know how you think I should do that, and also like the video because it really helps, and subscribe for more stuff just like this. I've got a whole mesh of different PDX content coming out, from Vicky to Hoi to EU4. This is my first time doing an AI only game, and it's both disgusted me and just been amazing. I was Aldrahill, and I will continue to be. Thank you so very much for watching. Please do not judge me too harshly for the monster that I have created. Bye-bye.